webinar this week, I thought we'd ask some of our LTC staff to share some of their most frequently asked and answered questions from their work in the field. I'll start things off with a little tip on Google Classroom. One of the most important things you should do if you use Google Classroom in your school or district is archive any classes that you're not using anymore. An easy way to do that in Google Classroom is to simply, here on your dashboard, go to the three-dot menu and click Archive. It'll ask you to make sure that you want to do this. When you click Archive in your Google Drive, it will move all that course content into a different location. Please remember that you should never ever mess with that classroom folder that you'll find in Google Classroom. That's where Classroom stores all of your course content and so on. Don't delete that if you go through and clear out your Google Drive. Make sure that is retained, leave it where it is, and don't mess with it. Why should you archive instead of delete a course? When you archive a course, again, it's simply held in Google Drive. So next year, if you teach that same course again, let me get out of the way here, I can come back to archived classes, find that exact same class, and make a fresh copy of it.
Hi, it's Jen Leben, LTC Tech Coach, and I have a 1-minute Google Drive cleanup that you can use. Let's check this out. First of all, if you haven't gone into Google Drive and turned off the suggested files that show up at the top of your screen, go into that settings gear and turn it off. I mean, some people might find it useful, but for me, it was just files that would pop up that sometimes I needed, but sometimes I didn't, and it wasted that valuable real estate viewable space when I was looking at my drive. So that would be tip number 1. Now, tip number 2 is if you're feeling super overwhelmed by all of your files, you have so much stuff in there, just visually. What I suggest you do, even if you've been teaching for 20 years like I have, do a Control A, select all of your files in your Google Drive, and move them to a brand new folder that you create. Now, I would suggest calling it like this last school year, name it 21-22, but you could name it, archived or old or something, or to be sorted later. That's fine. Move everything in your entire drive into this one folder, and you can always take stuff and move it out later as you need it. But visually having it all just into that one folder to be dealt with later, I think it's super helpful. And if you reach that point, having that clear space, oh my gosh, amazing. And then lastly, if you do get rid of your folders and you put it all into that one, make yourself a new folder for the next school year and take a moment to go in, change the colors, maybe rename it with an emoji, and just feel like you're starting the year off like nice and fresh and organized. And then you can slowly take things from your old folder and move them out as you need them and not cluttering up that whole space. So hope that helps. Have a great summer. Bye.
Hi, my name is Sarah Phelps, and I am an instructional technology coach for the LTC. And I am going to show you kind of a little bit of an add-on to what Matt talked about with archiving your Google Classrooms. So you probably are aware, but with your Google Classrooms, you are able to add them to your Google Calendar, which is really helpful. If you are looking at your calendar, you can see assignments that you've posted, which is really great. Now, what you probably have realized is that each time you create a new set of Google Classrooms, they keep showing up on your calendar, which is really not too much of a problem. You can absolutely uncheck them. But here's the deal. Even if you archive a class from Google Calendar or for Google Classroom, it's still going to be on your Google Calendar. So you're going to really start to amass quite a few calendars that really aren't meaningful to you because they don't do anything or add anything to your calendar. They're archived classes. So after you have archived a class, okay, just like Matt said in his video, what you would probably want to do is head over to Google Calendar and you're going to go find that calendar here, okay? And instead of just clicking the check mark to get rid of that calendar, we're actually going to do a little bit more. We're going to go to settings and sharing. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and all the way at the bottom is unsubscribe or even delete. And if you are archiving a classroom, deleting that calendar is going to be just fine. Also, you're doing your students a favor because it's going to be permanently erased. They don't need that on their calendar anyway. Again, students probably don't even realize that those are there on Google Calendar, but if you have students that do, they will appreciate you for it. So again, either unsubscribe or just click delete. It's going to ask you if it's okay to permanently delete it. If it is a class you are done with and you don't want it on your calendar anymore, you can permanently delete that. And that is going to help you just free up a little bit more space here. I got a couple more calendars to get rid of because I am done with those classrooms for the year. They are archived. All of their wonderful information is still in my Google Drive, but they are not taking up precious space on my very busy calendar. I hope you have a great summer.
Happy summer! My name is Brian Krause, I'm an instructional technology coach at the LTC. Here's a quick Google Drive tip that I always use when organizing at the end of the school year. Now, we all love organizing our Google Drive, but sometimes we just lose steam and we don't get all the way to the end. There's one thing at the end you definitely want to get rid of. Up here, I've got a bunch of blank Google Docs or Google Slides that are all usually going to be called Untitled Doc or Untitled Presentation. Let's get rid of those all at once. So if you're on a Mac, click Command. If you're on a Windows or Chromebook device, click Control. And all I have to do is select each one of those, and I can just lump them all together and drag them straight into the trash. Once I drag them straight into the trash, let me leave them in there, and then boom, I've now gotten rid of all those untitled docs that I don't need. Have a great summer.
Hey everybody, Amy Graham here, instructional technology coach with the LTC. And my end of the year tip to you would be to go into your Google Drive and store all of those items that you've received in your drive into a folder to remember where you have them and what they are next year when you return into the classroom. So to do so, what you would do is you would go in, and I would recommend making a new folder, and I would call it the 2021-22 school year. And then I would go ahead and click create. Now, I personally prefer clicking this little arrow next to my drive so that I get a drop down of all of my folders. And you will find that the new one that you just made is going to fall right here, 2021-22 school year. Numbers usually come first. Anything with emojis or images in the front is going to automatically be placed at the top. So emojis, numbers, pound sign, hashtag, whichever generation you want to connect with, is going to be a way to get around the automatic alphabetical order that it's going to put your file folders in. And then what you can do is you can come down and you can drag any files that you're not quite sure what you want to do with. You don't want to lose them, you don't want to forget them, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're able to find them right away and just drag them over into the 2021-22 school year. That way, when you come back next year, you're able to find them right away. You can also take this time as you're scrolling down and checking out everything that needs to go somewhere. You can also take the time to delete anything that you don't need. So if I did not want this one, I could right click over the top and I can just go to the trash, down to delete or remove, I should say. And that is my tip for the end of the year. I hope you all have a wonderful ending to this school year and an even better 2022-23 school year coming up.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Byam, and I'm an instructional technology coach for the LTC. Happy summer. Today, my tech tip for you is to create a folder to store everything from this specific school year. So take a look in your drive, look for those schedules and anything else that you might have had shared with you and just added to your drive, and they may just be anywhere in your drive. Find those and put them into a folder. You can see mine right here that is labeled with this school year. I even threw an emoji before mine so it stays up near the top of my Google Drive. And then once you're finished kind of organizing this school year, create another folder for next school year. And again, when those schedules and different things like that start getting shared with you this summer, you know exactly where to dump them. So then you will always know exactly where to find them. I hope you have a happy summer. Get that rest that you very much have earned this school year.
I'm Holly Kelly with the Learning Technology Center of Illinois. I'm a regional ed tech coordinator for LTC East, and I want to show you the hierarchy systems in Gmail and in Drive that will connect with Classroom. So when you're organizing your Drive this summer, or organizing your Gmail, or you're thinking about next year's Google Classroom, these few tips may be able to help you. So the first thing, in Google Drive, you'll notice when you're looking at my Drive, I have a period here. I have some emojis on my pink folders. I then have these numeric numbers 2, 5, 6, 8. And then I also have alphabetical. So the first thing to know is that keyboard symbols, if it's the very first character that you place when organizing your folders, if it is a keyboard symbol like your period, exclamation mark, question mark, it will move all the way to the top. After that, you have emojis, and after that, numerical, and then alphabetical. This really helps because when you start organizing your Drive, you can label your folders differently to be able to find them more efficiently, or be able to get signals to you that something is in the right place or maybe wrong place. For example, why do I have these green question marks? Well, the reason why is that as I go through my Drive, when I add a question mark as an emoji, that means I have cleaned that folder and the contents inside that folder. So when I start the next school year, I'll remove those question marks and find a new way to organize. Also, I have some emojis for things here as well that will help me navigate my Drive and be able to find things faster. Don't panic if you're looking at my Drive and you say, wowzers, that looks way different than mine. What I want you to do is go to the top right corner and click that little piece of paper, and you can change it to grid view or list view. I personally like grid view because I get more real estate per page. I don't have to scroll as much. So how do you do that? Right click on any of your folders and you can change the color. Like for example, all of my folders in pink, that means they're shared with someone else, which means anything I put in that folder, someone else can see. So it triggers me to know, okay, maybe I should think twice before putting that in there because someone else has access to that. Those are my pink folders. But ultimately, you can change your folders here. And if you just add color to your folders without thought beforehand, you're just going to have a really colorful Drive, and that's okay too. But how you rename your folders is you're going to click rename. And for example, I'm going to backspace the earth and put an exclamation mark and watch it move, voila, all the way to the top. Now I have Google Earth first and then period. And I'm sorry, I do not know why certain symbols come before other symbols and why certain emojis come before others. And it's not alphabetical because a peach will come before an apple. So how do I change this back to my earth? Right click, go to rename, backspace the exclamation mark, and then you can right click and go to emojis and symbols, and I can type in globe, and there's my globe. I also use the keyboard shortcut because I have a Joy Pixel extension, and I do Control Command Space, and it will get me right to the emoji keyboard instead of right clicking. And if you're on a Mac, you can go to, or I'm sorry, a PC or a Chromebook, you can go to Command period, and your emoji keyboard will show up. You can also do that in other platforms for Google as well. Now, let's shift to my Gmail. You will notice Gmail for labels has the exact same organizational system. So remember, keyboard symbols, emojis, numerical, alphabetical. For my Gmail, I have this clock because that means I'm waiting for responses versus my pointing fingers, which means I need to respond to something in that label, and then everything is in alphabetical. And lastly, really quickly before my timer goes off, If you look in Google Classroom, I put anything that has an assignment with a #008, #007 in my assignments. When I go to my Google Classroom folder in Drive, you will notice that all of my assignments are as well are organized in folders and organized by that #004. It will really help your students help with keeping their Drive organized for next school year. I hope these tech tips helped, and always feel free to reach out to me at hkelly@ltcillinois.org. Again, it's hkelly.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Zampano, and I am the Director of Instructional Technology Coaching for the LTC. And happy summer vacation. I know for me, when I was school-based and I had my summers off, I would reset, take some time away from technology, but then come back in and try and organize and get prepared for the upcoming school year. So one of the things I created one year was a tech check, because our digital lives are becoming just as crowded as our everyday lives and our homes. So I try and break this down to be manageable and take one technology task a month and try and meet that task, go through it, clean it up, just check in on it, and spread this out throughout the entire school year or entire calendar year, as a matter of fact. And I do realize that you are going to be coming into the summer months, so you're coming into this late. But I did want to share it with you. I'll put a link in the comments in the event that it might be something that you might want to start to think about creating your own tech check to keep yourself organized. And summer is a great time to do that because there's no pressure to get everything done in a timely fashion. And I'm hoping that you find this tip helpful and that you can organize your digital life as well. Have a great break.
Hi, my name is Ann Casa, and I'm an instructional technology coach with Learning Technology Center. Welcome to the end of another school year. Before you go jumping into that pool party, though, let's take a moment to create a folder inside of our Google Drive labeled Ideas for Next Year or Things to Do for Next Year, whatever title feels great for you. And inside of that folder, whenever we come across something over the summer that we'd like to try, maybe a template that we see or an example we'd like to see, just put it right in that folder. And that way it'll be there for you, all organized and ready to go. Also inside of that folder, let's put a Google Doc, list the months in there. So let's list August, September, put them down, and then under each month, we'll put bullet points. So say you want to learn a new tool. Let's say, oh, okay, I want to learn this in September. And then think of something for October. Maybe last October, we did something in class and we're like, oh, I'd like to make sure I do that again, but I'd rather do that in the second half of the year. Let's move that into the January stack of things to do. So that way we stay organized as to when we want to try new things and when we want to do things we have found success with. It keeps us from getting overwhelmed, and it can help us plan out our year in a way that gets us where we're going a little bit more smoothly. Enjoy the tip. I hope you have a wonderful summer. Bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Santos, and I'm the Regional Educational Technology Coordinator for the LTC Chicagoland region. And let's talk about email. Do you have email? Sure you do. You've got lots of emails, and they can tend to pile up at the end of the school year. How do you get out from the mountain of emails and clear your inbox and mind for the next school year? I'll give you a few tips that are all found on what I call the priority bar within Gmail. Some of these you may have heard of, and some of them may be new. Okay, so we all know that we can click and check box next to these emails and delete them. But what if you're a little nervous about deleting them and concerned that you'll need them later? You might choose to mass archive your emails by selecting whichever ones you want to archive and clicking this archive button. They will be removed from your inbox, but they're gone and not forgotten. They are still in your account. You can search for them and find them using the search bar, or you can click on that More button down here and then scroll on down to All Mail. That All Mail folder has all of your mail, including what you've archived. So it's out of your inbox, but still something you can find later. Hey, by the way, if you want to find things later more easily, why not set up folders? I can select one or multiple emails and I can click on this Move To button, and that will allow me to move that email to a specific folder I've already made, or I can create a folder on the fly and create new and drop it right in. I can even nest folders within other folders to create a structure that works for me. It will be out of my inbox and in the folder, and of course, searchable for later. All right, here's two lesser known things that you can do with your email. If I check this box and I go up to the top to add to tasks, if you're the type of person that uses your email as a to-do list, you'll like this. I can add it to this little tasks app here, and it creates a task with the subject line of the email. It even links back to that email later so I can see the details, and I can add a time for me to get a reminder about this email and when it's due. When I have multiple tasks, I can rearrange them in whatever order I like. I can manually add tasks, and my favorite, when I'm done, I can check off that task. So now you can truly use your email as an inbox, and you can drop these, or your email as a to-do list, and you can drop these emails in a different folder or archive them and not have to see them in this view. Finally, maybe you get emails that you know are important later, but you're not going to need them for a while and you don't want them cluttering up your space or your mind. So you can select those emails and snooze them. By clicking the snooze button, I'm able to pick a pre-selected time or choose a time and date of my own where that email is going to now disappear from my inbox and then be resent back to me in my inbox at that time. Don't worry, it'll still say the original date and time that you received that email when you get it, and it's not gone forever. If you decide you need that email a little earlier than you thought, just go over here to your snoozed folder and you'll see things that you previously snoozed. Well, I hope you enjoy those quick tips for managing and decluttering your inbox. Good luck clearing your email and your mind. Have a great summer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily, and welcome to the end of another school year. Yay! You've earned it. I hope you have a wonderful break planned ahead of you. Some of us make different changes when it hits summertime, and you might be looking at a job change. And if that's the case for you, then I want you to be able to know how to do a Google Takeout of your content if you are leaving your district or a place where you're at. So take a look here. When you are into your Google account settings, you can see it right here on the home page, and it says to transfer your content. And this allows you to take all your Google files and all the things that you have at your current organization, package it up nice and neat, and take it with you wherever you go. So in order to do that, you're just going to click Start Transfer. And then you will follow these steps. So you might add your emilyhome@gmail.com, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to send a code to that account. It will verify, and then it selects and it transfers all of your stuff over. So you followed the steps for the Google Takeout, and now you have a folder right here that will say the Takeout on it, and inside of there are all of your files organized just like you had them in your previous place. So it's a great way to get your all your Google files in one place. I hope that you have a great rest of the end of the school year, depending on how that is, and a wonderful summer. And if you are doing Google Takeout, best wishes on the next place that you go. Have a great summer.